Good morning, traders. So let's get on with the DAX. So for the regular viewers, you'll notice that the chart has changed. I've just moved away from IG and moved all my accounts across to GT24. So I'm using MetaTrader as my platform now. Number of reasons for it, but anyway, yeah, IG is a market maker, and the after-hours stuff has often caught me out and triggered stops which should never have been triggered. So yeah, so this to me is just a better solution. Anyway, so the chart is pretty much the same. A couple of subtle differences. The Bollinger is not a 20 exponential Bollinger anymore. It's a simple moving average Bollinger, because I don't have that option in MetaTrader yet, so I need to figure that out. And also you can see that the 20 moving average is on the chart, which on IG I got rid of. So the oscillator is here. I've just overlaid the MACD on top of it, which is a black line. Okay, and then I've just added my stochastics, which is two stochastics overlaid, which is a 2155 and a 4555 setting. And the reason I've done that is for the groupings. So when you see the groupings like this and a crossover, you can see that there's a change in direction. Okay, except when we're in a massive trend. When we're in a trend, then it tends to stay overbought or oversold for extended periods of time. Okay, so, and the interesting thing about that is if you look here, we are getting a crossover. So, I think I'm probably going to start changing my tune on the DAX. And this is going to be this was the first leg down, one leg up, and this is going to be the second leg down that's going to come. So that's what is looking like it is brewing at the moment. Okay. So for now, we're still above the alligator. So on the weekly, I am still slightly bullish. But after the events that unfolded yesterday, I'm starting to change my tune. Okay, these blue blocks and orange blocks or yellow blocks on the chart, those are just gaps. Okay, so wherever there's a gap on the time frame that we're on, that indicates the gap it's open. Right. What can I say about yesterday? Well, yesterday's advice to trade the open range break was correct, and the break was to the downside, and you would have made your targets on that. Okay, so what is brewing at the moment is this inverse cup and handle. So there's a cup and there's a handle. Okay, however, if I look at the stochastics. The stochastics are nowhere, but when they are far apart like this and they cross over like they have, normally that indicates a pretty violent move in the direction of the crossover. So the crossover is up, so normally it indicates move to the upside. But based on how we closed yesterday, I seriously doubt that. And we've also had a close below that pin bar. Okay, we didn't get a high above the pin bar, but we have had a daily close below it here. So I suspect there is a lot more downside to come. Okay. So the problem with the DAX at the moment, because the trend has been so strong overall, the bulls are still going to be stepping in and buying. So in my eyes, the shorts are there to be had, but it's going to be very brave man to hold your shorts for an extended period of time. Okay. So what you want to do is get in and get out intraday style. So just keep trading until the trend changes and we stay below the 200 moving average here on the daily. If we can stay below it for an extended period of time, then you can, even then you can see when we're below it here, you could hardly hold your shorts or your longs actually for any extended period of time. So I think day trading is the name of the game. Let's just get down to the 4 hour. Okay, so this W bottom, let's use this line again because that was the neckline of the W. So here's the W bottom. Then for all intents and purposes, this reversal pattern here is still in play. Okay, but there are a few things which are concerning me about it, and specifically on the 4 hour, is we've had a crossover of the stochastics, right? they're all pointing to the downside now. We have closed below the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, which is our purple line, and we've also closed below the Alligator. Okay, so this is not looking very pretty for any form of longs at the moment. Okay, so as I said, I'm starting to change my tune. This is going to be a continuation to the downside. Now, we did have this channel that we were in. Sorry, I'm still learning this package, so just bear with me for a bit. Take it there. So we did have this bull channel here, which also broke yesterday. It broke to the downside. So for me, I mean, you could draw that as a channel, or alternatively, this could be seen as a wedge. Okay. So regardless, it is a consolidation of sorts from an initial move down. Okay, so you can expect some follow through out of this, I would assume. Okay, so what do we have here? We don't have anything else on the indicators, and apologies for that flashing information block. So I can't get rid of it. I'll try have a look at it again on the weekend. Right. Okay, so if you look at the 1 hour, we have definitely created a new low. So there was a previous low, and at this stage it was a higher low. So this was a higher low compared to this. But we have now broken this fractal to the bottom. The other thing you'll see is these little triangles are fractals, okay? So those are fractals on the chart, and we have had one break. We do have a grouping starting to form, which would indicate a pullback of sort, but I think it's just going to be really a pullback. So for me today, the trade is going to be exactly the same as yesterday. Trade the open range and take that from there. So if we just, what I want to do quickly is just set the show period separators. Okay, right. That's one. It's just a daily dotted lines. Now, if you take the open range, which was 9 o'clock. Okay. Now, what I'm finding with the DAX is the 8 to 9 bar is giving mixed results, but the 9 to 10 bar is working pretty well. And a combination of two works very well as well. So I'm using the 9 to 10 range for my breakouts. Okay. So you can see we got a breakout, and then the breakout target was hit, the second target was hit, and the third target was hit. Okay, so breakout target is the range height. Target 2 is basically the 1.618 extension, and then this is the 2.618 extension, and then the third target is the 3.618 extension, Fibonacci extension. So you can see how that played out pretty well. Okay, so that is pretty much going to be the same call for today, because you can see we are below the Alligator, so the range break will more than likely be to the downside. You may get a small range with a break to the upside, which tests the underside of the Alligator, and then we move to the downside. But for intents purposes, I would expect continuation of this downward move. So in saying that, ideally I'd be looking for an entry somewhere over here. And if I can let me just get to my data. DAX futures right now is sitting at 12,711, and which is pretty close to where we where we closed. Okay, so we are pretty much hovering in this area. So maybe just a short little pullback I would expect, possibly to test this kind of trend line that we have going here. So just to come and test this, and then a continuation to the downside. And what we haven't got is some downside targets. Obviously the range break targets will be there, but it's always good just to have your levels in. So there is a level that was not hit. That's a Brooks gap. Okay, so I would expect that level to be hit today. And then I would expect this tail here to get hit. And there's another one there. Okay, so, and let's just put that last Brooks gap in as well. So there. Okay. I'm going to come back to the 1 hour. And let's just, okay, so essentially I would expect this level definitely to be hit, and I'd also expect some profit taking here because it's quite strong. Okay, it's a pretty strong breakout retest that'll happen, so expect some profit taking. Then obviously these two tails will come into play. We break below these tails, then this W bottom is null and void. Okay, and then we have a potential range break to the downside. Now we're going to have to just consolidate this. So essentially what would happen is we're going to say that this move to the downside was consolidated. We've broken the consolidation pattern, so we're expecting a bigger move to the downside. And probably on the daily would be a better way of looking at it. Okay, so you can see we had, sorry, wrong line. So we've got that, and then we had that. So we've had a consolidation break to the downside. So in other words, what we're looking for is a continuation of this pattern to there. Okay, I would round it off to that tail there, basically. So the bottom of this tail, that's where I would aim for. Okay, so that's kind of the play at this stage, I think. So the key to all of this is the break of that bottom there. Okay, so if that goes, then you can expect us to hit here and possibly even that area there. Okay, so guys, so that's my play for the day. Open range break trade for me. Just wait for the first hour. If the first hour of trading actually does give us a bit of a pullback back onto the trend line, then it would definitely be an area to look at. So onto that trend line. So if you get any bearish action, because that would also be kind of a retest. Well, not quite, because this line is wrong. Delete that. Okay, so any kind of retest of this trend line in this area would be a pretty good place to be short. Okay, so that's kind of my play today. It's short, and yeah, I hope it helps, and enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll catch up with you guys on Monday. Catch you later.